Are Manchester City starting to crumble, boys? I know, boys, those words, Manchester City and crumbling, we haven't associated that with Manchester City in recent years, have we? They've just been winning games, man, comfortably for the last 4 or 5 years, man. 4 to 5 league titles. And for me, boys, it hurts me as a United fan, man. It hurts me as a United fan to see them doing so well, of course. However, this season, wide open title race so far, man. I mean, as I say, I think I wouldn't rule Arsenal out yet. I know they suffered a big defeat the weekend there to Bournemouth, 2-0, and obviously Saliba got sent off, so the game situation changed for them. I wouldn't be writing them out just yet. Liverpool actually play Arsenal this weekend, alright? That's a massive game. My prediction for that to draw, but I think one thing I would say, boys, if Liverpool go to the Emirates and get a win there, how big a statement is that in terms of their intentions for this season, man? I mean, that would be huge. But obviously, Arsenal are without Saliba, through that red card suspension. So, it's going to be an interesting game, man. But obviously, today's video, all about Manchester City. And I want your boys' thoughts. Get them in the comments, man. Let me know. Do you think Man City are crumbling? Because I think it's a perfectly honest conversation to have right now. I really, really do. You look at Man City's last 3 league games, boys. A draw, 1-1 at Newcastle. A narrow 3-2 win at Fulham, but in a bit of a topsy-turvy game. And then a very late goal, a very dubious late goal, should I say, against Wolves to steal all 3 points at the weekend. So, it's one of those ones, man. It's one of those, I think at the minute, they're scraping games. And the argument would be, well, Jack, teams have to scrape games. Champions scrape games when they're not playing well. Now, this season going in, boys, I felt that City might drop off a little bit, but it wasn't for the reasons of what's happening at the minute. I mean, obviously, right now, you could argue Rodri is obviously the big cog in that system that's missing. And they're having to try and, get through that and work out a way to solve that issue. It's a massive gap, of course. The reason I didn't think City would do as well this year is because I thought, despite Pep's amazing mentality and despite obviously this team and they're all champions and they're all winners, I genuinely thought, well, there has to be a point where they're not going to win the league title again. They've won it 4 out of the last 5 years. I just questioned this year. I thought, you know what, it might just be Arsenal's year. The way it's looking right now, it might be Liverpool's year, which is scary for me as a United fan. I mean, it's the lesser of two evils. Do I want City to win the league or do I want Liverpool to win the league? Well, not a great decision for us to make as United fans, is it? But, as I say, get your thoughts in the comments. The reason I'm putting this video out, boys, is I honestly think City are crumbling a little bit. And this video will either be proven absolutely bullshit or else absolutely true in maybe a month's time, maybe 2 months' time, when we see City's next 7-8 league games. At the minute, it's not even to do with the results. As I say, they've drew at Newcastle and they've picked up 2 narrow wins. But it's not even the results, right? It's not even, because they're only winning by a goal. It's how they're playing in the games, They're not, whenever you associate City with Pep, right, they pass their opponent to death and they create chances and there's a high chance creation and there's a fluidity to their play and they win comfortably most of the time, right? It's not happening right now. It's not happening right now. They're scraping through games, and as I said earlier, you gotta scrape through games as champions, right? You gotta scrape through games. You're gonna play in a 38-game Premier League season. You're gonna be maybe playing 10, 12 games that you're maybe not playing as well as you can. Maybe a couple of your players are off it. But those are the games the champions are made. If you win those games, you get over the line, it gets you those extra 5, 6, 7 points that might be a difference come May at the end of the season. So by no means am I saying, they're doing really well to win these games, scraping by, right? You got to do that as champions. But the one thing I am thinking, boys, is that there's more drop points here for City. You look at that game at the weekend, right? Gvardiol, they go 1-0 down early on in the game, 7th minute, I think it was. Strand Larson, I think, scored for Wolves. Wolves are really bottom of the table right now, right? They score. And then it took City a bit of time to get adjusted to that. Gvardiol bails City out, gets them an equaliser. And obviously then the late goal. John Stones, a very, very dubious goal late in the game, man. Some people thought it should have stood, some people thought it shouldn't have stood. Either way, though, they're leaving it very, very late to get back in that game and to win the game. And that could have easily been a 1-1 draw and 2 drop points for City. So we know in this title race, boys, from last season, the season before, and I ask any Arsenal fan, whenever you're involved in the title race, you can't be dropping City points to here and there. Which is why Arsenal will be so worried about their loss to Bournemouth the weekend, because they've first-hand experience in previous seasons of games like that, a draw here against a team that maybe you should have beat, or a loss against a team you should have beat. That can be the difference when you lifting the league title in May and not lifting it. So there's such a high bar and such a fine margin of error now, boys, to win this league title, and I just honestly think this could be Liverpool's year again. I mean, it'd be crazy if Arne Slot comes in and wins it in his first year, and I really beg that doesn't happen as a United fan, but you got to give them credit where it's due. And then when you look over here at City and you think they're starting to, obviously, yes, listen, this is all early in the season. We're only 8 games in. Let's take the fixtures so far for what they are. We're only 8 games in, but early signs are there, man, that City without Rodri, they're leaking a bit more than they usually do, leaking a bit more goals than they usually do, and they're scraping. They're scraping these wins. Is that going to be sustainable, you know, over the next 10, 15, 20 games for the rest of this season? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. So, yeah, I want to know your boys' thoughts, man. I just want to make today's video, see what you boys are thinking in regard to the title race. Bit of a title race video, I guess you could say. Early title race predictions, I guess. It's far too early to make predictions for the title race, but we can see who's really, you know, challenging at the minute after, what, 8-9 games. And recently, I just think City might be crumbling, man. They might be starting to crumble. But this, as I say, this video will either age really well or really badly. Depends upon the next month, 5-6 weeks, depending on the City's next 5-6 games. How many points are they going to pick up from those? Because let's be honest, I mean, by no means am I saying they're going to completely fall off. They're going to still get comfortably second or third, you know what I mean? But yeah, we know how strong the opposition is now with the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool challenging. I'm just wondering a wee bit, boys, if City are starting to crumble a little bit. It's just in the back of my mind, boys, and I thought, you know what, I want to make today's video, see what the community's thinking, man, because their last 3 league games, you got to look at them and go, you know what, they're not the City we know. They're not the City that I hate as a United fan. They're not the City that completely dominates games and wins them, you know, by 2-3 goals. So, yeah, your thoughts in the comments, man. Especially if you're a Man City fan yourselves. Let me know, you know, what your thoughts are on your team this year. And obviously, you are missing Rodri. I mean, any team. Quality of player Rodri is, any team's going to miss him. You know, whether you're Man United, Man City, you know, Liverpool, Arsenal, it doesn't matter, man. You know what I mean? You're a quality player like that there in a hugely important position in the modern game, in that defensive midfielder position. You're going to miss him. Of course you are. But it's going to be interesting to see over this next, you know, 2 months or so how City adapt to that long term with Rodri out, and are they still going to be, you know, winning these games, getting these points? Because there's a fine margin of error, and you lose, you know, say you win one, draw one, lose one even in a period of 3 games, you can find yourself way behind in that title race challenge, man. So, yeah, get your thoughts in the comments, boys. Don't forget to smack that like on the video. Really helps us out. And, of course, subscribe if it is your first time watching this video. With loads more football content on the channel. You know, these sit-down talk videos. And also, of course, we do the watch-along live streams as well, man. So, yeah, get involved. Really appreciate your boys' support. And, yeah, until the next one, boys, peace out.